Okay, Blue, I think we're rolling, buddy. Say hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the shop. And it's been a bit of an eventful week for me. Didn't get as much done in the shop as I'd like to. I had to get a couple of jobs done, and I was dealing with an issue that I'm going to get into in a few minutes here. But got that HVAC running. I'm going to just be quiet for a second. Let's listen to it. I just want to hear how this sounds on tape. But it's doing the trick. I mean, it's keeping the temperature in here pretty comfortable. I'm about 21 degrees, and my only source of heat is that heat pump. Although it's not that cold outside right now. It's like maybe 10 degrees. So we've had a really mild winter here in the West Coast. I don't know. It's just, I saw frost maybe 3 times. That's it. No snow, none of that. But apparently we're supposed to get a bit of snow like next week. I don't know. We'll see. But it definitely feels like spring. I mean, all of the cherry blossoms are budding out, and honestly, I got a little chive patch in the garden, and it's sprung right back, and I've been actually cutting chives, so it's definitely almost garden time. Something might do a bit on the show is some gardening. I just love it. I just like having my own tomatoes, my own cucumbers. We'll grow some peppers. Maybe in the fall we'll make some really interesting pepper sauce, like fermented peppers. I don't know if you ever tried fermenting peppers, but you can really make some pretty intense sauce. And I'll grow a couple of different varieties. I grow some chilies. I grow some jalapenos, maybe some habaneros, a couple of ghost peppers. Just add a little extra heat to the sauce, right? But that's going to come, I guess, in the next few weeks. We'll start that process. Like I said, I want to do a lot of stuff here with the studio. I think the main thing for me right now is getting this thing built. Oh, I don't know why I always forget to flip the timer. Okay, we'll get the timer going. Our little 15-minute timer. Okay, there we go. Now it's running. So, had an interesting day. I went out with my daughter, and the one that made Blue for me when she was little. I should probably introduce him better one day. I'll save that though. We'll do a whole episode dedicated to my little buddy Blue here, and I've got some cool stories. I swear I don't know, what can I say? I don't go anywhere without the guy. I don't do anything without him, and me and him have been on some pretty interesting adventures together. We'll share some of that with you guys. But I spent the day with my daughter, and we were out. I was taking her to a bunch of sewing shops, and she wanted to get some beads, so we ended up at this bead store, and just as luck would have it, there's this leather store, like right beside the bead store, and I've actually been thinking about. I've been wanting to get a bit of leather because part of the decor in this place is I wanted to have this kind of brown rawhide leather, and I got this beautiful, like, chocolate colored rawhide leather that I'll be using for seating, and I want to do some stuff on the table here with it, and little accents around the shop. And I got 2 big hides of something they call dead stock, so I got it really, really cheap. So I got these 2 big hides, and this is a 7-foot across table. It's 7 foot long, 3 feet across, and this thing is hanging over the edges of it. So I got quite a bit of this stuff, and man, you should smell it in here. Like, I was cutting some cedar earlier, and I got the smell of that cedar and the smell of this leather going. The only thing that's missing is the pipe tobacco, right? And that'd be like a literal Ralph Lauren advertisement, right? It's like, but it does really smell like, I don't know, like a total dude space in here. What can I say? This leather, it's just so nice. It's so soft, and it's got this really cool chocolate color to it. Really, really looking forward to setting this up. The plan here is, like I say, to make a really, I don't know, interesting little, I guess, isolation chamber, for lack of a better word, for some dudes just to sit around and chat, right? And it's going to be a good environment for that, I think. Also, I got a really nice whiskey. Went to a place out in Langley, actually. It was, what the heck was the name of it? I can't remember the name, but I went in there. I was going to get some beer, and I've been looking for this Compass Box Orchard House. I've heard really good things about it. Can't wait to try it. It's a blended malt scotch from Scotland. Stuff was $80 a bottle, so I grabbed 2 of them. I have a feeling this is going to be a real smash hit. I've seen a lot of guys talk about it, and really looking forward to seeing why they think it's such a great whiskey. So that'll be one of the ones we get to explore on the channel here once we get this thing rolling. But I couldn't get as much done this week for a very unusual reason. And I'm going to talk about a subject right now that I didn't think I'd be talking about this. I thought this was kind of in my past. I'll be honest. Now, it's a bit personal. I got a medical issue that I've been dealing with for about 5 years. Why don't I just give you a brief history of the medical issue, and then we'll go into the interesting aspect here the thing I didn't think I would be talking about. So it started for me in the early summer of 2021, right around, COVID, right? So, like I said, I was working night shifts, and then I was switching back to day, and I thought most of what I was feeling was probably associated with that. And when you shift work is just brutal on a person, but it comes with the territory, because we're working in critical infrastructure. Wireless is, especially me, I'm an electrician, so everything I have to work on live, and I have to do it in what's known as the maintenance window, which is after midnight between midnight and 6 in the morning. So when we're doing live work, that's when it has to happen. So there's nothing I can do about it. That's just the way it is. But I was switching back to days, and I was feeling just awful. And I started getting a headache, a really unusual headache, a headache I've never had before, right? I ended up in my truck. It took about 2 hours. I dropped like 3 Tylenol 3s, or no, those extra strength Tylenols, not the Tylenol 3s. But it took about 2 hours for this headache to clear, and it was just intense. Like I've been getting headaches since I was a little kid, but nothing like this. This was off the chart, and it felt like a hot poker being stabbed into the back of my left eye. And that was the first time I got one of these headaches. And every night, I swear every single night since that day, I would get these headaches for like years on end. It's been 5 years, but I got some help, and we figured out what was causing it, and I got medication that's gotten it sort of under control. I got something called cluster headaches, right? It's a class of headaches like migraine and like stress headaches and stuff like that, but it's a whole class of headaches, and there's a lot of people who suffer from these things. And fortunately for me, I got the help I needed from a neurologist, and it took forever to get that appointment though, man. Like 8 months I had to wait to get this appointment with this neurologist. But once I got in with him, this guy took really good care of me. He's just fantastic. And my dentist too. My dentist did a lot of heavy lifting, did a lot of research, and tried to figure out, what was causing this. And, we had to do a bit of surgery on a couple of my teeth to rule that out. And it did help. There's no doubt about it, right? But ultimately, the only thing that helped me was a medication called Verapamil. And this neurologist put me on it, and it took about 3 weeks, but it finally started to kick in. And it was these headaches, I got them under control completely. And that was about 6 months ago that I started really taking the Verapamil. And everyone's different with these types of headaches. For me, we worked me up, and I took 4 80 milligram pills a day, and the headaches were pretty much gone. And the way my headaches would work is they would happen at night. I have to first fall asleep, and once I'm sleeping, the headache will start. So you can imagine every single night you get this little like sleep paralysis demon that like visits you. It's like just awful, right? But I fall asleep, and then the headache starts, wakes you up, and then you spend about an hour and a half just in complete agony, until this headache finally goes away, and then you can get back, then you get to sleep, and then you can sleep through the night. But it's like every night, like brutal, right? But I had this thing under control. And about a month ago, my bottle of Verapamil ran out, and I had to go get a fresh refill. And I went to the pharmacy. They refilled my prescription, gave me like a 3-month supply of this stuff, and the headaches came back within 3-4 days of this. And I went, like the maximum dose for these pills that the doctor recommended was 6 pills, right? Well, I went to the maximum dose and it was doing nothing. The headaches were actually getting worse. It was just crazy. So I went back to the pharmacist. I had to rule this out. Is it possible that I've got counterfeit pills? And the pharmacist looked at me funny. She's like, no, that doesn't happen. It's impossible, right? But she humored me and she gave me a 2-week supply of another batch of pills. And I started taking those on Saturday, just after doing the show here. And it's taken a few days, but my headaches are back under control. And I'm down now to 5 of these pills rather than the 6 of the... I think I got a bottle of counterfeit pills. I don't know where these things come from. I don't know the history of them. I don't know who makes them. But that's the way it looks right now to me. I don't know if anyone else has had any experience with this. Like, you get this prescription, you expect what's in the bottle to be what your doctor prescribed for you, right? Not some placebo pills that some unscrupulous, vendor off overseas, because obviously they're making them overseas somewhere, right? But I don't know if I was the victim of these counterfeit pills, but it's looking that way. I mean, it really is. Like, last night I didn't get a headache. That was the first time in like a month that I didn't get one. And for the last like 3 days in a row, like they were progressively getting like milder. Now, I don't know if that's all coincidence. We're going to find out what happens tonight. And I'll tell you guys next week, like what goes on. But if that is the case, I don't know how widespread of an issue this is. It's the first I've ever heard of it. I mean, I kind of Googled it and other people have suspected that they were given counterfeit pills, but it's really hard to prove. I'm going to return the pills to the pharmacist. She's agreed that she'll send them back to the manufacturer, which I think is just retarded. Like, no, don't send them to them. Send them to some third-party lab to have a look at these things. Because honestly, from just the way this looks to me right now, this is the first time I've ever had to rely on a prescription for anything, really. And to get hit with counterfeit pills, what the hell? Because my condition is so acute and it responds so quickly to this particular medication. Like, it was immediately obvious that there was something off, like immediately. So I will keep you in touch with this, but I wonder how many people have been injured or suffered pretty serious consequences because the pills they got were not what their doctor intended them to take, or were some really heavily watered down version of it, right? Where it could have costed them, who knows, their health, even their life, right? Like, look, it's a weird issue. It's not something I thought I'd be talking about, but now that I brought it up, I don't think headaches are, most of us get headaches. These aren't headaches, the things that I get. This is like it's crippling, absolutely crippling. Could you imagine? It's behind your eye. Your eyes water. Like, you can't stop the water. It's just pouring out. All your sinuses are just filled with like drainage. Like, it's just, and you can't see. Like, you can't do anything. I can't drive. I can't work. I can't do anything when I got one of these headaches. And I've got a few buddies that have similar issues. I actually got a friend, a guy I've worked with in the past, an electrician just like me, a really good one too. This guy is an ace. He's the guy you call when you can't figure something out. He's one of those guys that I'll call, right? Because he usually has a pretty good idea which direction to send you, right? And I want to get him here on the show. And in fact, I'm going to send this to him. Say, hey, how's it going? I don't know if I should say your name, but whatever. Colin, how's it going, buddy? So I haven't seen Colin in a little while, and I really, really love this guy. He's really cool. He's got an interesting story. Like, his head, he gets migraines. It was caused after effects of a motorcycle injury, right? This guy had a really horrible crash. He got T-boned or he T-boned, I don't know. Someone cut him off and he hit the guy and did the Superman and like broke 20 bones kind of thing and barely survived, right? But one of the lasting effects of this crash was these migraine headaches that he would get. And be interesting just to talk, about that issue with him. Because you still got to run your life. You know what I mean? Like, oh well, you get these headaches, so you just got to deal with it, right? And not just headaches. I know guys that have other kind of chronic pains that they got to take a half a cap of Viagra just to go take a piss, right? Like, there's people that have to deal with stuff that it just is what it is, right? But it'd be neat to get this guy in here with me and maybe a couple of other dudes who deal with this. And again, I just want to create a good space where we can chat about, these types of issues. Now, this one is one I never thought I'd be talking about until, like I said, my sleep paralysis demon came back, and it was almost certainly now because of counterfeit pills. So I think that's a subject that some of you may find interesting, because I don't know what your situation is, and I just know what mine is. And I can only do what I can do. Is I can talk about what I'm experiencing, right? And same with the other guys that come around this table. That's all I expect of you guys. Just talk about what you've been experiencing. That's it. Other people can relate. You'll be surprised. It's like some things are just universal, right? So we'll get to that. Let's get to a bit of the progress report. So this is that sauna board stuff. So I'm going to be using this for my acoustic treatments around the shop, and it'll be covered by this fabric, this Hudson wool stuff. So basically, this is going to be kind of going on the ceilings and highlights around the walls and on my backdrop where my guitars are going to be hanging and stuff. So it sort of just keeps the sound in I don't know, it tones down the high end, and it sort of absorbs a bit of that boominess, right? So, but you can see, once I've treated it with the Flamex, I thought I demonstrated last time how it takes this stuff, turns it kind of fireproof. But I gave it a second treatment. So this has the consistency of, like, I don't know, a loofah sponge, I guess you would say. You can see it's very springy, but it's not crumbly. Whereas what I've done here is first did the fire treatment with the Flamex, and this one's done with borax. You can see it's similar effect. Although the borax does react with the glue. So once you're done flame treating this stuff, you take any PVA glue. I use Wellbond. Wellbond, I think, is a glue I've used for years. It's fantastic. It dries crystal clear almost, and it bonds almost anything to anything. It's one of the better glues that I've ever used, Wellbond. And it's strange. Not a lot of places carry it. Like, you actually have to go hunt this stuff down, but it is just fantastic glue, and I don't know why nobody carries it. They carry all sorts of other PVA glues, like you can get LePage, you can get like Elmer's, like all sorts, but none of them are as good as this stuff. But this stuff, what I like about it is it waters down beautifully. And what I did is I took 1 part Wellbond and like 2.5 parts water. And once the fireproof treatment sort of, dried out, then I applied this Wellbond, and you can see it. This stuff is so crummy and flaky when you don't treat it. But look at this. It just falls apart, right? But you put that Wellbond on here, it seals it. So first of all, if you have any concerns about the fireproof treatment or the borax or this Flamex, I don't know. It's made of, I think, ammonium sulfate or something. There's a lot of things you could use. It doesn't have any ingredients on the bottle. It's some proprietary thing, but it doesn't have any safety warnings, and it's approved by Health Canada or whatever to be used in stagecraft. So I'm going to assume it's pretty safe. But if you have any concerns, seal it in with this Wellbond stuff, and again, consistency of a loofah sponge. Now, it'd be nice if it was more textured, but remember, this is a working shop. Like, I'm going to be making sawdust and stuff in here, and I need surfaces that I can clean easily, like this. It's got a bit of texture, but I could vacuum off the dust. Done. Especially with this, once the wool is on there, I think it's going to make a really nice surface, easily vacuumed, keep it dust-free in here. And this against this brown leather, the cherry wood. Where's that cherry wood? The cedar. Get out of here. Oh, I should smell it in here right now. Honestly, I was cutting a bunch of cedar, and the leather, it smells freaking awesome in here, guys. It's going to be a really great space. So hopefully next week I have a little bit more accomplished, and we can get over the mechanical part and we get to the real fun stuff, right? I had other things I wanted to talk about, but it'll have to just wait till next week. So thanks for coming by. I invite you to, join me next week. And again, I think pretty soon I might open this up to a wider audience and start promoting this in other circles, and maybe extend the show a little. Like, guys, I need to get a little practice just talking in front of this camera and not being nervous, and just being myself, right? So I think I'm getting there. Hopefully you guys think so too. And does the world need another YouTube channel? Probably not. But am I going to do it anyway? You bet you. So stay tuned. Hopefully you guys get something out of this, and well, I know I will. So take care. We'll see you guys next week, and enjoy the weather. We're supposed to get some snow. I don't know. Like, is winter ever going to show up? Because it's already spring, so it might be too late there, winter. But maybe it's never too late. We'll see you soon.